Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
today we're going to be unpacking something that I think a lot of you have probably heard about. Um, it's called the law of attraction.
Yes.
And it's this idea that basically your thoughts can shape your reality.
That's right.
Pretty wild stuff. And
It is
I think a
wild.
lot of people have a lot of different opinions about this.
Hmm.
Some people are very passionate about it. Some people think it's nonsense. So we're going to try to get beyond the hype today
Hmm.
and really figure out what this law of attraction is all about.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You want to know where this idea came from, what it actually means, and if there's any truth to it?
Yeah.
We've got you covered.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
I think it's always interesting to trace things back to their roots. So where did this whole law of attraction thing come from?
Right. Well, it's not like someone just woke up one day and invented it. The LOA, as it's often called, has roots that stretch way back. We're talking ancient philosophies like Hermeticism,
Hmm.
even Hinduism and Buddhism.
Okay, interesting. So we're not talking about some new age fad here.
Mhm.
But what's the connection between ancient wisdom and what we know is the law of attraction today?
Good question. It's all about the idea that attracts like. You've probably heard that phrase before, but it's a core principle in many ancient traditions. Think about the concept of karma, the idea that your actions, both good and bad, come back to you. Or in Buddhism, the emphasis on mindfulness, being aware of your thoughts and how they shape your reality. These ideas all share a common thread with the LOA, that our inner state influences our experiences.
Okay, so it's like this ancient wisdom is being repackaged for a modern audience.
Yeah.
But how did it actually evolve into what we know as the law of attraction today?
Right. Well, a key turning point was the New Thought movement in the 19th century.
Hmm?
Thinkers like Phineas Quimby and William Walker Atkinson started formalizing these ancient ideas about the mind-reality connection. They explored how mental focus could be used for personal growth and success.
So they took these abstract philosophical ideas and started applying them to everyday life.
Mm.
But how did the law of attraction become so popular?
Yeah, it's been a gradual process, really. Books like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, published way back in 1937, really popularized the idea of positive thinking and its impact on success. And then, of course, there was The Secret, which exploded onto the scene in the 2000s, bringing the LOA into mainstream consciousness.
Right. I remember The Secret. It seemed like everyone was talking about it. And you've got celebrities like Oprah, Jim Carrey, and Tony Robbins, who all credit the LOA for their success. But okay, let's get to the nuts and bolts here. What are the core principles behind the law of attraction?
All right. The foundation is, of course, like attracts like. It's the idea that your thoughts and feelings emit a certain energy or frequency. That attracts similar experiences back to you. Think of it like a magnet. Positive thoughts and emotions attract positive outcomes, while negative ones can draw in negativity.
Okay, so it's not just about thinking positive thoughts randomly. It's about aligning your thoughts, your emotions, and even your actions with what you want to attract, right?
Absolutely. The LOA is about creating a sense of inner harmony and congruence. It's about feeling the emotions associated with your desires as if they've already manifested. That's where the power of visualization comes in.
Okay, visualization. So this is where you start picturing yourself living in that dream house, driving that fancy car, achieving that ambitious goal.
Exactly. It's about creating a detailed mental picture, feeling the joy, the excitement, the gratitude, as if you've already achieved it.
Mm.
By doing this, you're essentially sending a powerful message to your subconscious mind and to the universe, whatever you
Yeah.
believe in, that this is what you're aligning yourself with.
So it's almost like you're giving your brain a roadmap, a blueprint for what you want to create.
Mhm.
But what role does science play in all of this? Because let's be real, some people are pretty skeptical about the law of attraction.
Yeah. Right, and that's understandable. It's important to approach these ideas with critical thinking. But what's fascinating is that there are some interesting connections between the LOA and scientific concepts.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
For example, think about the concept of neuroplasticity. It's the idea that our brains are constantly changing and adapting based on our experiences.
Mm.
Now the LOA emphasizes the power of visualization and affirmations, repeating positive statements.
Right.
Could it be that these practices actually leverage neuroplasticity to rewire our brains for success?
So by consistently visualizing our goals and affirming positive beliefs, we could be physically changing our brains to become more aligned with those outcomes. That's pretty wild.
It really is. And it's not just speculation. Studies have shown that mental practices like meditation can actually lead to measurable changes in brain structure and function.
Yeah.
It's like strengthening a muscle. The more you exercise your brain in a certain way, the stronger those neural pathways become.
Wow, that's pretty compelling. So even if the LOA itself isn't a scientifically proven law,
Hmm.
the techniques it promotes might have real scientific backing.
That's one way to look at it, and there's another interesting connection. With the reticular activating system, or RAS, think of it as a filter in your brain.
Hmm.
That helps you focus on what's important.
Okay.
It sorts through the massive amount of sensory information you receive and prioritizes what's relevant to your current thoughts and beliefs.
Okay, so if I'm constantly thinking about opportunities, my RAS is more likely to point them out to me in my environment.
Exactly. It's like you're priming your brain to notice things that align with your focus. And this ties back to the LOA. The more you focus on what you want, the more likely you are to see it, attract it, and create it in your life. It's fascinating how our brains can work with us or against us depending on where we direct our attention. But while those connections to science are intriguing, we need to be balanced. The LOA isn't a magic bullet. There's a lot of criticism from the scientific community for good reason.
Right? Thinking positive thoughts doesn't magically erase real-world challenges, does it?
Exactly. Critics argue that the LOA oversimplifies things. It doesn't adequately address the role of systemic issues, socioeconomic factors, and just plain luck in shaping our lives.
So it's crucial to avoid falling into the trap of blaming yourself for negative experiences. Like, oh, if I've only visualized harder, I wouldn't have fill in the blank with whatever misfortune.
Exactly. It's not about that. The LOA is about empowering yourself, not creating more self-blame.
Right.
But even with those caveats, there's something about the LOA that captures the imagination, right? Those stories of people who've used it to achieve incredible things are hard to ignore.
You're telling me. I'm thinking about Jim Carrey. Didn't he write himself a $10 million check back in the 90s, visualizing his success? And look where he ended up.
That's a classic example. And there are countless others. Entrepreneurs who visualize their dream companies. Athletes who mentally rehearse their winning performances. People who use the LOA to manifest love or overcome health challenges. Now, we can't definitively say the LOA was the sole factor in their success.
Of course not. There's always hard work, talent, timing, all of that.
Absolutely, but those stories still offer valuable insights into the power of mindset and belief. They challenge us to think differently about our own potential.
Okay, so I'm getting that the LOA is more complex than just wishing for things. And poof, they appear. What about the techniques? Where do those fit in?
The techniques are where the rubber meets the road. They're tools to help you align your energy with your desires. We've already touched on visualization, but let's explore a few more. Vision boards are popular.
Yeah, vision boards. I've seen those. Collages with pictures of dream homes, travel destinations, all that good stuff. Are those actually helpful? Or just a fun craft project?
They can be surprisingly powerful. It's about creating a visual representation of your goals. Putting it somewhere you'll see it daily, it's a reminder of what you're working towards.
It's like a tangible manifestation of your desires. What else?
Affirmations are key. Positive statements you write and repeat, as if your desired outcome has already happened. I am healthy and vibrant, or I am attracting abundance into my life. The idea is that repetition helps reprogram your subconscious mind.
Like planting seeds of belief and watering them with consistent practice. Even if someone's not totally sold on the LOA. These techniques, visualization affirmations, they can be helpful on their own right.
I think so. It's about training your mind to focus on the positive, to cultivate a belief in yourself and your abilities. And then there's gratitude journaling.
Gratitude. I've tried that. Writing down things I'm grateful for, it does shift your perspective, helps you appreciate what you already have.
Exactly. It's about cultivating an abundance mindset, which is essential for the LOA to work. But here's the catch. Mental techniques alone aren't enough. Action is crucial.
Right, you can't just sit around visualizing a new career and expect it to fall into your lap. You have to take steps, make moves.
Exactly. It's about aligning your actions with your desires. Update your resume network, take courses, whatever it takes to move towards your goals. It's what some call inspired action, taking steps that feel aligned with your vision. And don't underestimate the power of meditation, especially with intention.
Okay, break that down for me. Meditation with intention, what does that look like?
It's combining the calming, focusing benefits of meditation with the focused energy of the LOA. You could meditate while visualizing your goals, or repeat affirmations silently. It helps clear your mind and amplify those intentions.
It's like supercharging your meditation practice with the power of the LOA. So we've got the principles, the techniques, but are there any downsides? Things to be cautious about?
Definitely there are pitfalls to be aware of. We've talked about the danger of self-blame. But another is getting so caught up in manifesting specific things that you miss out on the present moment. The LOA isn't about obsessing over outcomes. It's about enjoying the journey, trusting the process.
Balance is key, right?
Mhm.
Not getting so fixated on what you don't have that you forget to appreciate what you do have.
Exactly. And it's important to be mindful of the ethical implications. The LOA isn't about manipulating others or trying to control outcomes that affect other people's lives. It's about empowering yourself, aligning with your highest good, and contributing positively to the world.
I think that's a really important point.
Mm.
So how can we apply the LOA to different areas of life in a way that's both effective and ethical? Where do we even begin?
Well, let's start with relationships. The LOA can be a powerful tool for attracting a loving, supportive partner, but it's not about trying to control someone or bend them to your will.
That never ends well, does it?
Not usually. It's about focusing on the qualities you desire in a partner, cultivating self-love, and visualizing a healthy, fulfilling relationship. It's about creating an energy that attracts someone who aligns with your values.
So it's more about attracting the right person, not forcing a specific person into your life.
Exactly. And this applies to friendships, family dynamics, even professional collaborations. It's about creating a vibration that attracts the right people into your orbit.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about finances? A lot of people are drawn to the LOA because they want to improve their financial situation. Is it really as simple as visualizing money raining down from the sky?
I wish it were that easy,
Hmm.
but it's more nuanced than that. The LOA can help you shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Focus on your financial goals and take inspired action.
So it's not about greed or getting rich quick. It's about aligning your energy with financial well-being.
Right. It's about recognizing your self-worth, believing in your ability to create abundance, and taking practical steps towards your goals.
It's like budgeting, investing, pursuing opportunities that align with your skills and passions.
Exactly. It's about combining inner work with outer action. And don't forget the power of gratitude for what you already have. The more you appreciate your current resources, the more you open yourself up to receiving more.
I love that. It's about shifting your focus from lack to abundance, from what you don't have to what you do have.
Exactly. And this applies to all areas of life, not just finances. The more grateful you are for your health, your relationships, your experiences, the more you invite abundance into your life. The LOA can also be a powerful tool for personal growth.
This is where it gets really interesting for me. I'm all about self-improvement, becoming the best version of myself. How does the LOA fit in?
It's about visualizing your ideal self, focusing on the qualities you want to embody, and taking actions that align with your growth.
So if I want to be more confident, I could visualize myself speaking up in meetings, taking on new challenges, radiating self-assurance.
Exactly. And you could use affirmations to reinforce those beliefs. I am confident, I am capable, I am worthy.
It's like giving yourself a pep talk from the inside out. But what if you hit roadblocks? What if you're doing all the right things, but still facing challenges? Does that mean the LOA isn't working?
That's a question a lot of people ask. And the answer is, it's not always a straight line. Life throws curveballs. The LOA isn't about controlling every outcome. It's about cultivating a mindset that empowers you to navigate those challenges with resilience and grace.
So it's more about how you respond to those challenges
Yeah,
than trying to avoid them altogether.
exactly. And it's about trusting that there's a bigger picture unfolding, even if you can't see it in the moment.
I think that's a really important reminder.
Mhm.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are the key takeaways you want listeners to remember?
I'd say the most important thing is that the LOA is a journey, not a destination. It's about cultivating a positive mindset, setting clear intentions, taking aligned action, and trusting the process. It's not about instant gratification. It's about creating a life that reflects your deepest desires and values.
So, as we've been talking about the law of attraction, I've been thinking about how it intersects with spirituality. For some people, it's deeply connected to their religious beliefs or their spiritual practices. How do we make sense of that?
That's a great point. For many, the LOA isn't just about personal gain. It's about tapping into a universal energy, a higher power, or a cosmic consciousness. It's about aligning yourself with a greater purpose.
It's almost like the LOA becomes a bridge between the personal and the spiritual.
Yeah, exactly. It can be a way to connect with something bigger than yourself, whether that's through organized religion, personal prayer, meditation, or energy work. It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected, part of a larger web of existence.
Right. And that makes me think about the role of intuition. A lot of people who embrace the LOA talk about listening to their gut feelings, trusting that inner voice.
Intuition is a powerful force, and it often gets overlooked in our logical left brain world. But the LOA encourages us to tune into those subtle whispers, those nudges from within. They can guide us towards opportunities, help us make decisions that align with our highest good.
It's like that saying, trust your gut. It's not always easy, but it can lead you in the right direction.
Absolutely. And, as we explore these different facets of the LOA, it's inevitable that some big questions come up, like the whole free will versus destiny debate. If our thoughts are shaping our reality, does that mean we're not really in control?
Yeah, that's something I've always wondered about. How do you reconcile the LOA with the idea of free will?
Right, that's a question philosophers have been grappling with for centuries. But one way to think about it is that the LOA isn't about denying free will, it's about recognizing the power of our choices. We have the freedom to choose our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And those choices, in turn, influence the experiences we attract.
So it's not like we're puppets being controlled by our thoughts. It's more like we're co-creating our reality with the universe.
Exactly, it's a dynamic interplay. We're not passive recipients of fate. We have agency. And then, of course, there's the question that always comes up. If, attracts, why do bad things happen to good people?
It's a tough one. How do you make sense of suffering and injustice in the context of the LOA?
Yeah, it's important to remember that the LOA is not a simplistic formula. That explains every aspect of life. It doesn't mean that if something bad happens, you must have somehow attracted it. Life is complex. There are factors beyond our control. Accidents, illnesses, natural disasters, the actions of others.
It's not about blaming yourself or others for misfortune.
Absolutely not. And sometimes challenges and setbacks can be opportunities for growth and learning. They can force us to reevaluate our priorities, develop resilience, discover hidden strengths. It's not about denying the pain or the struggle. It's about finding meaning and purpose even in the midst of adversity.
It's about using those experiences to become stronger, wiser, more compassionate.
Exactly. And, as we've been discussing all these complexities, I'm sure some of you are wondering, okay, but how do I actually apply this in my life? It's great to talk about principles and theories, but what are the actionable steps?
Right, give us the practical application guide. Where do we even begin?
The key is to start small. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Choose one area where you'd like to see positive change. Maybe it's your relationships, your finances, your health, your creative pursuits.
List your area of focus.
Exactly. And then choose a technique that resonates with you. We've talked about visualization affirmations, gratitude journaling, experiment with different approaches and see what feels most aligned with your personality and goals.
It's about finding what works for you.
Exactly. And remember, consistency is key. It's not about trying these techniques once and expecting miracles. It's about integrating them into your daily life, making them a habit. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger your LOA muscle becomes.
It's about cultivating that mindset shift, the belief in your ability to co-create your reality. But what if you're doing all the right things and you're still not seeing results? What then?
Patience is crucial. The LOA isn't about instant gratification. It's about aligning your energy with your desires and trusting the process. Sometimes things manifest quickly, other times it takes longer. The key is to stay focused on your goals, keep taking inspired action, and trust that the universe is working in its own time and in its own way.
It's about surrendering to the journey, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should.
Beautifully said. And throughout this deep dive, I hope what's come across is that the law of attraction is more than just a set of techniques. It's a philosophy, a way of thinking, a lens through which we can view the world and our place in it. It invites us to consider the power of our thoughts, beliefs, and intentions, and to take responsibility for the reality we're creating.
It's about becoming conscious creators of our own lives.
Exactly. And while the LOA may not have all the answers, it offers a framework for living a more intentional, empowered, and fulfilling life.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the law of attraction, what's the one thing you want listeners to take away from this conversation?
I'd say the true magic of the LOA lies not in trying to control the universe, but in aligning ourselves with its infinite possibilities. It's about cultivating a mindset of possibility, believing in our own power to create positive change, and trusting that we're always supported, guided, and loved.
It's about embracing the journey, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the law of attraction. We hope it sparked your curiosity and inspired you to explore this fascinating concept further.
And remember, whether you're a seasoned believer or a curious skeptic, the power to shape your reality lies within you. Keep those positive vibes flowing.